'Cause baby, it's the everything for me, for me, for me. Baby, it's the everything for me, for me, for me. 'Cause baby, it's the everything for me, for me, for me. Baby, it's the everything for me, for me, oh, for me.
If nobody told you as of yet today, I love you. If nobody told you as of yet today, I am proud of you. You gonna continue to achieve anything you set out to do. You understand me? Also, you already know, I do have to give you a brief disclaimer. I only want you to take what resonates, and I want you to leave the rest behind, all right? I don't want you trying to force certain scenarios for you. If you don't happen to get your confirmation through me, I guarantee you're going to get it through somebody else, all right? So be patient with your process. Also, you already know my voice is too raspy to be whispering, all right? So this is about the time that you probably want to go ahead and hit that volume. Now, before we get started, I want to thank you so much in advance for all your love, all your likes, all your shares, subscribes, your gifts, kind words, not only to myself, but each other too. I appreciate those of you who trust me with your messages, as well as refer me to other individuals as well. Thank you so much. You understand me? So before we begin, I wanted to make sure I acknowledge you, make sure you know I'm giving all that love right back to you. Thank you, Alicia. I appreciate you. All right, because again, I don't always get the pause in the middle of my message to relay it, but just know I appreciate you, okay? Now, chosen ones, I'm not going to be on here too long. I always say that and then an hour later, right? But we're going to start off by saying this is about you, all right? So before we always talk about everybody else, we talk about pertaining to what you're going through. We talk about as far as certain karmic individuals and what they have coming towards them based upon how they carried you. Excuse me. But today we're going to talk about you, all right? Because you don't give yourself the credit that you deserve. You don't even realize all the work that you done put in this far and how it's going to actually create legacies for lineages after you, right? So we're going to talk chosen ones first. We're going to start off by saying I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you because at times you have not realized a big position that you've been playing in other people's life. You don't realize, chosen ones, the position that you've been playing, and you've been putting it off. You again haven't been speaking life into y'all, but this day we going to, all right? So let me start off by saying this, chosen ones. Again, I already said I'm proud of you. For so long, all you seen was problems around you, and you ain't even realize it was because you were the solution. God knew that, again, you have the ability to see certain things that other people didn't. You understand me? You're the individual that God sent into other people's life because they were needing certain things at that time, and he instilled them in you. He sat there and whipped them up in you, so you had the ability to provide them. See, we gonna say this, chosen ones. A lot of you was born into karmic families. So at that time, before you came in, your mother was praying for certain love and affection. She may have been praying for a certain child to keep the partner that she was with, your father, so on and so forth, vice versa. He could have been doing the same thing. He was looking for a sense of direction. He was looking for a certain abundance. See, all his life, he had to work hard since he was a child, and he never received nothing. See, you have to realize that some of these karmic cycles that was connected to you, God sent you because you are the individual that's going to get through certain things that those people are going through. You are showing them another direction of what they used to. You understand me? So yes, it's been a lot of work, and yes, you've been having to work hard, but nobody else was going to be able to get as far as you have. Nobody else was going to be able to end that karmic cycle that was connected to them. So God had you come in as a blessing to them, and sometimes they didn't realize it. You understand me? So think about this, chosen ones. You can talk about how your ex didn't appreciate you, that job position didn't appreciate you, but it stems from a lot of the times the person who gave birth to you. See, we gonna have a brief intermission. See, I'm gonna say this, chosen ones, because again, you went through certain things based upon them. They sat there, your mother was looking for love. Again, she was praying for it to be in front of her face. God gave her an opportunity to give birth to you, so therefore love was coming her way. See, at that time she was blind. She didn't realize that her answers to her prayers had got presented. You somebody who had enough love to give them, to give to other people, so on and so forth. A cycle that was going to continue. But they didn't see it at that time. So what did that mom do? Half the time she put you to the side while she was out there chasing substances or other individuals. The same pertaining to your father. Your father sat there since he was a child. He had to be the man of the house based upon his mother and their father, so on and so forth, not working out. Excuse me. So what did your father have to do? Work so hard to try to provide for his mother, his siblings, and provide for you and your siblings too. He had to sit there and play a father figure position for your mother, or vice versa. Your mother had to raise your father. Both of them was trauma bonded. They wasn't able to give you what you deserved at that time, chosen ones. You was the answer to both of their prayers. And I say that because you are somebody that's going to make it. You already have. And you need to realize that you are the wealth. You don't have to chase it. It runs into you. You don't have to sit there and chase love. You are love, so love flows to you. When you realize that less is really more, in a sense that you don't have to do as much as you've been doing, because certain individuals are going to start reciprocating. See, chosen ones, when I tell you, you've been a blessing from the beginning, but you ain't see that because they didn't see that. See, they didn't have a name for it. You have to think that these people only have an attention span or a spiritual ability to up to a certain extent. They're not going to see things, and you're only going to see things up until they see it, until you get away from them and you learn different, right? So that's almost like parents who have a 3rd grade education back in the day, or 8th grade education, or certain people who can't read. If a child is learning to read from a person who can't read, they can't read too. So if you are learning how to survive, if you are learning how to live from certain individuals who are not living their life, that was instilled certain values that are not good for them, certain values that are not going to be beneficial towards them, if they were limited in the head and restricted in a sense, then chosen ones, you're going to be restricted too. That's like, again, they're going to adopt and adapt to whatever it is that you're showing them or they were showing you. So chosen ones, some of you, again, you was living to a blueprint that wasn't for you, and you was sitting there putting you down when you were here to uplift these individuals. See, your father didn't realize if he stepped up and played that position pertaining to you, that means actually have an impact positively for you. If your father was around and showed love to you instead of chasing certain substances, drinks, demons, instead of being that demon in a sense, if your father actually stepped up and played a positive position for you and did right things by you, that means show you love, but also show you how to get certain abundance too, show you how to be a protector, how to be a good person, as well as a parent, so on and so forth, right? If your father would have did the right thing, he would have got his blessings. See, his blessings of abundance was through you. See, yes, he had to wait several years in order for him to get that abundance, but God was going to make sure that he got it had he followed through. See, there's certain masculines right now, you're not playing a position to your child. You sitting there having another child instead of raising the one that's already around. You feel like you already failed them, or allowing that child's mother to put you down. See, because you're not fighting for your child like your father didn't fight for you, and you wondering why he's miserable and why he's limited and why he don't have blessings coming through, and you not realizing that the same is going to apply to you too if you don't do right by your child. And mothers, I'm talking to you too, because there's some of you that had a demonic ass mother who didn't ask you how you was feeling. There was certain mothers that you had that, again, chased the certain substances or finances and didn't show you love and affection. You wasn't near them. There was certain mothers that prioritized certain things that, again, over you, and that's why they missing out on certain blessings, because, again, that blessing was instilled in you. God sat there and planted a certain seed in you that had they sat there and covered it like they should have, that means giving love, protecting it, putting life into them, had they did right by you, their life would have been different right now. But that's why they currently in the position that they putting in. And chosen ones, you are not here to allow them to put you down. See, we going to get back to praising you, but we going to have to get back to telling you to separate from certain individuals and why you feeling the way that you do. See, chosen ones, those individuals at that point in time when you was a child, God knew what was going to happen to these individuals. That's why he gave them an opportunity to do right by you. So that mother that wasn't around, didn't show you love, believed her partner over you, that mother that, again, didn't show certain love and affection towards you, wasn't there physically for you, whatever the case may be, that father that did the same thing, so on and so forth. God knew that when you needed them, it was because in the end they was going to need you. So God wanted to see what direction they was going to choose. So they sealed their fate when you was in your youth. See how they courage you, chosen ones? They already sealed their their fate. So you needed a place to stay, but your parents didn't want to, or your parents didn't provide for you. They talked down to you. See, God knew that when it came down to their last days, that their health was going to decline, and guess who was going to be around? Guess who was going to be shining and was there to help them up? You. But guess who, out of everybody that was around them, they did foul to? You. Out of all the siblings, you were the one that was loving towards them, that was assisting towards them, even if you was trying to buy them in a sense, because you was trying to do right so that you can get positive attention and recognition that they never gave you. So again, chosen ones, at the end of their days, they're going to be going through it, and you are not to place your life on hold for these individuals. So that mother who's getting sick, that father who's getting sick, that parents who passed away, you're not going to keep them or allow them to keep you limited. You understand me? They had an opportunity earlier in their game to choose how their end was going to be. And look what you did, chosen ones. You chose to do the right thing. You still was loved when you didn't receive it. You understand me? So we're going to get back to praising you, but we had to make sure that you are coming correct when it comes to these karmic ass individuals, baby. You went from somebody that, again, you have been the blessing from the start. You seen problems all around you because you was the solution. You seen darkness all around you because you was the light, chosen ones. You understand me? So don't ever downplay yourself because other people didn't reciprocate or see those things. They only was able to see as far as their sight allowed them to. You understand me? And a lot of the times they wasn't seeing right because they was wearing the glasses from other individuals. They mothers told them that this is a life to live, this is how you do certain things, and that's what they believed for them. So therefore, guess what they did? They carried you the same way. So again, chosen ones, don't you sit there and feel bad about you because of how other people doubted you, because how other people viewed you, because again, they wasn't equipped to view you how you truly are and see the real you. God knew that, again, you was the blessing in the end, and that's what they starting to see too. Why you think you keep having these exes pop up in dreams? Why you think that you keep having family members come into certain dreams and you starting to think about them, you try to shake them off? It's because right now they starting to go through what you tried to keep them from going through. So the love that you try to give them, the warnings that you try to provide to them, so on and so forth, chosen ones. Why you think that you starting to feel their presence? Because now they starting to see things play out, and they starting to realize that you was the one sent to help them out, and that they made the wrong decision, that they went with the karmic and ride with the karmic against you. That mother sat there and disrespected you, and you was the one that was going to bless their legacy, was going to allow her to live again when she comes back in the next lifetime, so on and so forth. But again, they ain't see that, chosen ones, but they wasn't supposed to. See, let me say something, chosen ones. These individuals, before you was born, they didn't have anything going on. Before you came in their life, they ain't had nothing going on. Certain things wasn't going right. They was going to God, praying every day. See, they was crying. Talk about they wish love and abundance and an opportunity would come their way. See, they sat there and went to God and was talking about how when certain things get presented, what they was going to do with it. They was all confident and cocky with it, right? Okay, cool, chosen ones. So what did God do? He kept hearing them crying. He kept hearing them complaining, and God was like, all right, well, I'm gonna present this blessing, which was you. So you was the blessing to that ex, you was the blessing to your parents, you was blessing to that job position, you was a blessing to, you are a blessing to your children. You are that, you were that, you are that, and you will continue to be that. You hear me? But we gonna get into this, chosen ones. See, again, when you met them, they was limited. Certain things wasn't growing for them. So God sent you in, and guess what you did? You started to reroute their foundation. So this is that mother who didn't believe in herself. She heard that you got to find a partner, and that's the only important thing. She didn't think or wasn't taught to build herself up. That mother that felt like she had to choose either finances or love, that she couldn't get them both. So she was dealing with somebody who could financially support her, but mentally and emotionally and spiritually, they sat there and wasn't there for her. You understand me? So you sat there and come from a long list of people that feel like they have to compromise. They have to decide they're going to have to choose this or the other. You're somebody that, again, you came in to reroot that foundation, chosen ones. So when you sat there and was born, or you came in a life in a sense, see, we're not just talking about parents, but we talking about friends, we talking about lovers, we talking about job positions too. See, before you came, certain thing was chaotic. They didn't have growth coming through. So that person doubted them. That person was speaking ill upon themselves. That person didn't believe that they can have certain things. They didn't have faith within them. They didn't have God within them, so on and so forth, right? And what did? You came past these people and spoke life into them. See, what you speak is what you seek, and that's what you started to see, right? So you were speaking positive things on them. They started to see it, so they started to believe it, but they forgot where it was coming from. See, they forgot that God sent you into their life so that they could overcome. But we're going to talk about that, right? See, chosen ones, when you cross these individuals' life, they was not growing. And it was showing. See, they were starving in a sense. Again, they love was limited. Sitting there, happiness was limited. As far as dreams and admirations, they ain't have no loyalty around them either, so on and so forth, correct? See, chosen ones, God had you come and you sat there and you a professional at what you do. This ain't the first lifetime that you was out here helping and saving certain individuals. See, you may not realize that you do that every day, but we gonna get into that, right? See, chosen ones. See, when you sat there and crossed paths with these people again, they was starving. They haven't eaten. That means that they were starving for love. They ain't have love, affection. They ain't had no attention. They ain't have no direction. They ain't have no faith, so on and so forth, right? So you are a professional. You did this in plenty lifetimes. So you came through, you adjusted, you reviewed the issue because you are a seer, you understand me? So again, chosen ones, you cross paths with these people. You sat there and seen what the issue is. Oh, you missing love. So you sat there and took from you to patch them up in a sense. See, you sat there, oh, you missing faith. Okay, well, I'm going to speak this into you. Oh, you missing God. Okay, well, let me lead you to him. See, you sat there and seen what they was missing and you started to patch them up. See, the problem was you took from yourself in order to build them up. So you was taking parts of you to build up this individual, thinking that they was going to return and do the same to you, and they didn't, right? But hear me out. See, this again all comes down to we going to big you up. See, chosen ones pertaining to these people, you sat there and seen that the foundation was uneven. You seen the foundation was built on some effery, so that was doubt, that was negativity, that was certain parents and people telling them that they couldn't achieve certain things, people telling them that the darkness is something to be scared of, when really you the light. So you showed them that certain things was going to be all right. See, chosen ones, when I tell you that you came in and you sat there and rerouted that foundation, that means you seen certain weeds that they had around them. That was karmics, correct? You sat there and seen, okay, where the problem was. You started to pull them pieces up in a sense. You seen where things was uneasy and uneven. So what did you do? You came through and smoothed it out, right? That's why I say you the solution. See, chosen ones, when you sat there and seen where their issue was, you sat there and again, you helped dig up certain weeds. You started to sit there and plant certain seeds. See, you sit there and doubt you, and you don't realize the moves that you've been making. See, when I say that, chosen ones, that you rerouted as far as certain foundations, when people told you that you can only make it by doing devious things, you can only make it by giving your body to them, they will only want you if you do this, buy and bribe them. See, you sat there and did it a different way. See, you seen that the way that they was doing it all this time wasn't working for them. See, they was choosing finances over love. That's where they messed up. See, they was sitting there chasing a person instead of allowing the person who they was supposed to be to come towards them. See, you seen where certain foundations was a little rocky, correct? So what did you do? Again, you came in and you evened it out. You smoothed it out in a sense. See, chosen ones, that was some work. That's why you was tired. Think about that. Somebody out in the garden, they have to sit there and rake up the foundations. You got to cut the patch of grass. You have to sit there and rake this, pull this from that, so on and so forth. And a lot of the times you had the heat beaming on you. That's equivalent to certain people paying attention to you, certain people watching you, certain people doubting you, certain people not believing that you can do what you are set out to do. See, that's when they, again, all the neighbors, everybody around them, they had some fake ass grass. They had some fake ass friends, so on and so forth, a fake way of thinking. Some people, again, try to act like their life was perfect and it wasn't. They were slowly but surely sinking, but we gonna get into that. See, chosen ones, when they seen you putting that work in, that's why they laughed at you. Some of them left you because you was dirty in a sense. See, you wasn't dressed to impress. You wasn't having labels on. You ain't have certain money that you was out here flexing. Why? Because all the finances that you came in, you was sitting there investing in yourself in a sense. Everything that God told you to do and guided you to, you was doing. You wasn't out here taking them trips. You wasn't out there able to afford all these lavish gifts at that time because you had a mission to do. No, there was times that you wasn't able to go party with these people. There was times that you, even if you wanted to, God didn't allow you to because you was sitting there, had a bigger mission. foundation. So when you didn't have a babysitter or you ain't have no finances to go do certain things, I want you to pay attention. See, God is doing that because at that point in time, you got a big test that's about to arrive. Something that, again, is real important pertaining to your future. So that meant that your ass had to sit out. See, sometimes sitting out was going to save you, right? But we're going to get into this. See, chosen ones, again, you have to realize what things was happening. See, you sat there and was in the dirt. You was out there in the sun. You was out there making certain moves, correct? See, you was building a foundation. So you had to get it perfect in a sense. See, chosen ones, I want you to realize that there were certain people that was doubting you. So you started rethinking certain things that you was doing, and you was delaying yourself as well. You are somebody that's a professional at what you do. You are going to excel. God sat there and granted you certain gifts for a reason. You understand me? And you're going to use them in a variety of ways, which we'll get into again, but we'll probably do it another day, all right? But hear me out. See, chosen ones, when I tell you, you sat there, and again, practice made perfect, because you had to see exactly how that light was going to hit. You know how certain gardens, if you put it too much directly in the sunlight, it's going, the item is going to die. Or if you put it too much over here, it might flood, and that seed is not going to be able to really root in, whatever the case may be. See, chosen ones, when I tell you, you had to sit there and keep rebuilding. You had to keep moving certain things that people was doing. See, you had to keep, again, you wondering why you had to go from point A to point B, point A to point B, and you was wondering when you was going to get to C. See, there's certain people around you that all the work that you was doing, when you walked off, they sat there and undid it. You understand me? So that's you working on yourself, you building yourself up, but people around you staying negative. They still doing karmic things. So therefore, again, that work, you wasn't seeing certain things blossoming. But hear me out. See, when I say you sat there and rerouted that foundation, you took a different route. Instead of being mean to your kids, you showing love to them. That's something that you never received. See, instead of sitting there feeling limited because certain things ain't happening, you sat there and found another place that you needed to be. See, chosen ones, you didn't listen to the devil when the devil tried to deceive you. You didn't listen to these karmics when they try to act like they was your equal. See, you kept on going. You kept allowing God to guide you. Even that quick glimpse that you got, you realized that the light was going to be at the end of that tunnel. See, that's all it took. There's certain people that felt like you was crazy because they didn't see that glimpse. See, they was sitting there looking in the opposite direction when God showed that sign and showed that hint. See, you seen that gleam of light, chosen ones, so you keep moving. You understand me? Other people, they gonna do what they do, but you keep moving. You understand me? You don't sit there and hold up your line of certain people that's actually watching you, looking up to you positively. Thank you, babies. Don't you sit there and limit certain people that are willing to go where God is guiding you. For these people who's holding up the line, nah, they gonna have to step aside and you keep it moving. But we gonna talk, right? See, chosen ones, when I say you don't know how special that you are, you planted a seed that's going to allow many people after you to continue to eat. See, you ain't even realize that when you was building that foundation, that was equivalent to you analyzing certain situations. When everybody from your hometown stayed in your hometown, did the same things, and they currently going down, those people who didn't believe that they can do better, that family that told you that you should settle, that person that didn't believe you'll find somebody who's going to be like you, love you, cherish you, that job position that's going to honor you, that business that was going to bloom, they ain't see you sitting there moving into this house that you about to move into. They didn't see you about to have driving this car that you about to be driving. They didn't see you going to the places that you going to, but again, they was blinded. See, they was using somebody else's glasses, and think about that. You sat there and was hard on yourself based upon other people's perspective. You was wearing their glasses in a sense. You know how you put on somebody else's prescription glasses and if their eyes is effed up, you wobbling a little bit, your head starts to hurt a little bit. All right, cool. See, that's the equivalent when you try and live your life with somebody else's blueprint too. See, you was wondering why you wasn't walking correctly, why you was bumping into certain things. You was wondering why you kept running into problem and issue after issue. It's because of the glasses that you was wearing in a sense. You was wondering why your hair hurt, you tired, you exhausted, you so on and so forth. It's because of the glasses that you had on didn't belong to you. That was other people's projections, other people's expectations, so on and so forth. You understand me? They got a negative pessimistic pessimistic view. So you had to take those glasses off, and now you see where you're going to. Now you feeling a lot lighter, a lot better. But you had to disconnect from these people who didn't want to do better. But we gonna get into this. When I say chosen ones, you need to praise you and acknowledge you. Place yourself on a pedestal as well, like you do these other individuals. You need to sit there and gas you up as well. Because again, think of where you was, where you came from, where you're at now, and where you're going to. Think about that. See, again, chosen ones, you are somebody who never had love, but since you sat there and was a child, you've been using that same energy, that same love that God gave you when he first had you come down. See, chosen ones, you've been using that. Think about that. You started with a certain amount of battery, like say for your phone, or certain amount of love, right? That's equivalent to that. You sat there and started with the amount that God gave you, and you haven't gotten that reciprocated. If you have, it's been barely, right? It may have been a few love yous here, a few thank yous here, but you haven't gotten what you've been giving out. And you still been able to stretch that out and still give love to somebody else. Think about that, chosen ones. That's equivalent to you being able to stretch that spaghetti for a week for you and your children to eat. You've been making things happen. That's like you stretching that $20 so that you can get to your job and back, or to the school and back, whatever the case may be. You was stretching that gas to last until you was able to re-up again. You've been making moves, baby. That's why I'm trying to say I'm proud of you. You haven't realized that the smallest seed that you planted is going to have the biggest blooms. Think about that. The smallest process in planting flowers, planting fruit, planting whatever it is that seed that you place in. That smallest seed, how they say the seed of a mustard, the faith the size of a mustard seed, the smallest seed creates the biggest things that'll continue to grow. So the fact that you cleared out the foundation, that means you started to remove what projections wasn't you. You started to remove other people's opinions and illusions and curses that they placed on you. Your mother saying that you can only do this, or your father telling you that you couldn't do that. That was spells that they placed on you, and you kept speaking that on yourself. So now that you done broke that curse, you speaking confident about you, you speaking life into you, you sitting there feeling like you struggling with your children, but look what you're doing for them. Look what it is that you're doing. You got that, you feeling sad because you can't take them on trips. When you instilling certain values in them, that again, every time that they with you, it's a new experience in a positive way. You sitting there talking to them, you showing love to them. I don't care that you're not able to buy them new shoes, new clothes every day, that they don't got a fresh pair of J. They don't care about that. It's the fact that you took time, you instilled values, certain lessons that you placed upon them. You broke cycles so that they didn't have to go through it. So you sad because you was going through certain things and they witnessed it. You sad because you was struggling to get out of that toxic ass relationship. You sad because you don't have finances to stretch right now. But chosen ones, do you realize the gift that you given to them? Do you realize that? You ain't have no mother that showed you love the way that you showing love to them. You ain't have no father that showed up and supports them like you are supporting them. You don't got nobody. You ain't have nobody that was willing to fight demons so that they child didn't have to. You sat there and are doing that. So yes, they are watching you go through certain things, but they gonna watch where you going to too. They gonna sit there and be inspired that you started off here and that you was able to get through it. So stop being hard on yourself. What if I told you that your blessing is going to be the fact that you instill values in your child and they're going to grow up to be positive and great things, and guess what? They're going to sit there and have those blessings come upon you. The same way that it was supposed to happen pertaining to your parents, but they didn't step up to the position pertaining to you. So yes, your children are your blessing. You understand me? You do right by them, God does right by you. If you sit there and show half-ass towards them, I promise you, you're not going to have no blessings coming through. And you could feel like it's too late to do right by them, but that's not true, chosen ones. You have until they took their last breath. And even if they passed away, you have the ability to make it right, because some of y'all's parents come through in y'all's messages when we talking. And you know it's your parents because I'll describe them. I'll tell you exactly the parent or the person is that passed away and relate a message that you ain't even tell me about, right? So that, yes, certain things can be corrected, but you right now are hard on yourself. Don't be. See, chosen ones, I gotta listen what God tells me to give you an example. So let me tell you this. See, chosen ones. See, starting off, I've had many positive jobs. When I tell you, I've always believed that anything that I applied to was already mine. So job descriptions, since I was a child, that required certain requirements, like, oh, you have to have 4 years of this, 4 years of that. Nah, I made up an experience and not in it as far as knowledge then, right? See, chosen ones, hear me out. See, chosen ones again. Life ain't been easy for me, but we're not going to get into that, right? Chosen ones, when I tell you that again, any position that I claim, I receive. Same pertaining to you. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You manifest these things. Like, you claim it. When you believe it, you see it, right? See, not only that, chosen ones, when I was working for other positions, I ran into issues because I'm somebody who's always going to be there for my children. So if this job is telling me, nah, you have to work these certain hours, I was quitting it. Like, nope, I ain't even thinking twice about it. I ain't putting no 2 weeks in. If my children had colds or cough and they wasn't going to school, guess who was sitting out of work then? If that required overtime that made and required me to take from mine, oh, absolutely. I wasn't willing to do that then, right? So I always was getting frustrated at that time, like, why is this not working out? Why every time I get these good jobs, I had to sit there and walk away from them? How come certain things was happening where I couldn't find the perfect hours, right? Then God came through. See, God, at that point in time, I ain't realized it was because I couldn't find a job that aligned with my position. God sat there and said I needed to create it then. So what did I do? I listened to God. God told me to start a business. I didn't even know what I was going to do at that time. See, I've always been a prophetess. I've always relayed messages, but I wasn't getting paid for it. It's just something that I naturally do. If I walk past you, God tells me to relay a message, I'm relaying it to you and I keep it moving. All my family and friends, I've always relayed messages to them. So it was something natural, right? See, at that time in my life, I didn't realize that God was telling me that it was time for me to be in my purpose and my position. I paid attention to the signs and synchronicities. I walked away from major positions, right? See, at that point in time, chosen ones, God said, start a business, get your LLC. I'm like, I didn't even know what I was going to do at that time. He said, be patient and you about to see. I said, cool. See, again, chosen ones, I started, and this is not the flex, but I'm flexing pertaining to God. I'm confident and I'm proud of myself as well as God for divinely aligning. See, I'm saying this because some of you right now don't realize what God's about to do for you. See, I went from, again, having to miss out on certain finances, but I was standing up for my family. You understand me? I was doing right by them. It was never going to be a time that I ain't show up pertaining to them. Every event that they have, I'm going to be at. You understand me? See, I ain't have no mother in the crowd cheering for me. I ain't have no father. He was passed away. So at that time, he couldn't be there physically for me. So guess what? Every time my children look out, they going to see me. Every time they go somewhere, they going to hear me. You understand me? So when I tell you, chosen ones, that I went from trying to accept the job that initially when I went in, I knew it wasn't going to work out. I knew the hours was not going to work out, but I felt like, nah, I needed these finances at that time. I wanted to make sure my children had everything. I wanted to make sure that they had certain things I didn't have, right? Physically, as far as materialistically, so on and so forth. I put unnecessary pressure on that. But hear me out. See, my children are so appreciative, and your children too. Sometimes you put so much pressure on physical things, and it's the time that you spending with them. See, certain art shows that we had, we didn't have to go out and spend $1,000 in order to make them happy. We have memories that we actually have physically that we can look back and see these things, right? See, my father, chosen ones, I didn't realize it at the time, but my father kept everything from the day that I was born. And when he passed away, I didn't realize that he had held on to him. See, all of a sudden, when I graduated, my aunt gave me those things. And chosen ones, when I tell you that's something that means more meaning than physical or material things. That trip is cool, but it's the fact that they took that trip with you. Yes, that them shoes is cool, but it's the fact that those shoes came from you. You understand me? It's the fact that you sat there and was paying attention to things that they liked and they ain't even tell you. Some of your children are so humble that they see that you were struggling, so they don't even ask for nothing then. See, chosen ones, I want you to realize that some of your children, think about that. You spending all this bread on certain gifts and they playing with the box instead. You sat there and spent all this money to make sure that their room is all cool and they sitting there in your room with you. See, chosen ones, when I tell you, you starting to see that you positive, that you've been doing positive things, when you got to realize that you've been doing certain things that has a major impact, that generational worth isn't Or wealth isn't the finances that you leave to them. It's the fact that you instill certain values in them. You understand me? That they know what love is and they know how to give it and receive it. The fact that's something that you didn't, but you had to go through what you went through so that they didn't. See, give yourself credit. You heard me? You ain't know what love was. You just been that. You've always given that. Now you about to receive that and they about to witness that. See, you upset that they witnessed you go through certain half-ass relationships. You upset because you walked away from a two-parent partnership. See, you were so focused on not reliving a cycle that you created one. See, you sat there and grew up from a single parent home, so you said that you was never going to be able to do it alone. You said that you was never going to raise your child alone. So what you do, settle for a so-so ass individual, had a child with him, stayed with him because you felt like you had a child with him, that you had to stay with him. So therefore, chosen ones, you thought that you was breaking a cycle when you created one. Because instead of your child seeing you single and happy or away from their father or their mother with somebody else that made you happy, they seen you sit there and be complacent. They seen that you was willing to stay in certain struggled ass situations, abusive ass situations, whatever the case may be. They sat there and witnessed that. So instead of disconnecting from a cycle, you created one. See, chosen ones, when I tell you now, you learning, you walked away from that person. Now all of a sudden your child is going to witness you, be with a loving individual, be happy and get abundance too. See, some of y'all not realizing that this puzzle is going to be another, man, we're going to get into that. Matter of fact, I'm going to leave that as a separate live. Matter of fact, I may get off of this and then get back on after this one goes off, so stay with me, right? See, chosen ones, when I tell you, some of you are upset about trips that you can't take with your children right now. Whole time you don't realize when you grown, y'all going to be going around the world. See, chosen ones, you putting in that work. That's what you're supposed to do. You sitting there thinking that, again, when I tell you that you on the winning team, sometimes you're not the main person. Sometimes you're not the person who's the main spotlight. So yes, your life, you've been instilling in this child. You've been loving this child. You've been sitting there doing this, whatever the case may be. You understand me? Boosting them energetically up. You've been healing you. You planted those seeds so that they have the ability to eat certain harvests too. See, you sat there and don't realize that the smallest thing that you feel like you did makes the biggest impact pertaining to them. So when they grow up, guess what they gonna do? They able to feed other individuals' soul the same way that you fed them too. They able to, again, be the gift that keeps on going in a positive way. See, you don't realize, chosen ones, that, again, you are major. You hear me? When I tell you you major and I'm proud of you, when I tell you, you've been going through so much dark shit and you still made it through. When I told you, when everybody betted against you, you sat there and kept going because you seen who believed in you. See, when the world went against you, God was backing you. And that's all you needed. See, when everybody else that believed that you couldn't achieve it, guess what you did? You accomplished it. See, chosen ones, you sit there not giving yourself credit. You walked away from them toxic ass relationships so your children don't gotta experience them. See, you never seen your mother in a happy relationship. You never seen your father in a happy, healthy relationship. Yeah, they may have faked a little bit. Yes, they may have had a good times, but half the time it was some negative shit. See, you sitting there as somebody that planted seeds. You hear me? And your children don't got to go through what you went through because you went through those things. You accomplished certain things as well. You sat there and had victory over those demons that sat there and try to hold you down. So they don't got to run into that bully. You destroyed them. They don't got to run into that demon. You heard me? So when I tell you, you better sit there and give more recognition to you. You better sit there and give yourself more credit than you do because look at what you came through. Look at what your mother didn't do. Look at what your father didn't do. Some of y'all, our parents passed away because they refused to listen to the path that God was guiding them to do. They refused to separate themselves from toxic ass relationships. They refused to let go of certain substances. But what did you do? You did that. You sat there and helped break other people out the karmic ties that they was in. So now when your mother comes back, she don't got to go through the shit that you experienced because you ended that demon. You hear me? So when you sit there and talk down upon yourself and you don't realize the big impact that you had, not only on you, but everybody else, I'll be on your ass. And you know that when you come to me, as soon as you talk bad about yourself, I'm correcting you instantly. Do you know who you are? Do you know what you've done? Do you you realize that you changed the world just by you listening to God's guidance? Do you know that just being you has saved the world? Think about, you know that bee movie? Where it's like if the bees no longer was with flowers, or if the bees no longer had access to this, whatever the case may be, honey, and so on and so, how the world was impacted. That's you, baby. Without you, do you know certain things wouldn't move? Do you know that without you, you didn't smile? That smile never would have been given to that individual that you ran into, smiled to. You didn't even realize that that smile saved them because they was contemplating doing some dark shit until they ran into you. Do you realize you listening to God and relaying the messages no matter who called you crazy, that you saved certain people that still won't come back and speak to you and tell you that you was right on what you try to save them from going through? See, chosen ones, when I tell you, you don't realize how powerful you are. You don't realize how important you are. So I'm here to tell you I'm proud of you. Do you hear me? I'm proud of you. I love you. And when I say that, chosen ones, I mean that. When I say I'm cheering for you, I'm cheering for you. When I say I believe in you, I believe in you. When I say, baby, if you need somebody cheering at that graduation, you need somebody at that game, you need somebody to walk you down that I got you. You hear me? I promise you. So don't ever feel like you don't got nobody rooting for you. Don't ever feel like you by yourself, because I promise you, I'm here. You hear me? I promise you that. So I want you to realize that, chosen ones, when we reunited, we reunited. When we cross paths, we cross paths. I ain't gonna let you sit there and talk negative about you. I ain't gonna let you sit there and claim no negative shit about you. My voice is loud, baby. You gonna hear and remember my voice over them demonic ass individuals. I'm gonna talk over them every time. You hear me? I'm gonna shake that shit up off you every time. I'm gonna remind you who you are every time. You hear me? So you are not your projections. You are not your parents. You are not your past person, that what they put you through. You are not that job who didn't sit there and acknowledge you because God sat there and had you walk away from that job so you can walk into something better. You are not your past experiences. You understand me? You are somebody that's powerful. Other people went through what you went through and they didn't survive. Yes, you may have a few scars, but you here. You understand me? You here to help other people not go through what you went through. You're not a selfish individual. You're not keeping things to yourself. You sitting there making sure other people are vindicated from what you went through as well. You gonna sit there and speak up. You are the trumpets that the Bible speaks of when they say that you hear the trumpets before God comes through. See, the trumpets are symbolizing the chosen ones speaking our truth. We speaking our life. We speaking life into other individuals too. We sitting there speaking the end of this evil era. You understand me? So when them trumpets, that's you, baby. And when you hear them trumpets, know that God is right there behind you. So everything that God has you speak is what they about to see. You just sit there and make that presentation known. You understand me? I promise you, what you going through, you already made it through. The 5D, the 3D's trying to catch up to the 5D. See, what you see has to be made, right? So just like you got a blueprint of a house you want, you got to create that blueprint before it comes out physically, right? You got to set that page up before you print that paper out, correct? See, the same thing pertaining to you, baby. Just know that everything that you were shown, that God told you that you're going to get. So you separate from these negative ass people that got bad karma and consequences coming in. You be able to decipher feelings of yours and feelings of that negative, because again, they currently going through some hectic shit, so they projecting on you. You feeling sad about that past person. That's because they feel like they failed their mission, which they did, and they know that you got love coming in. So now you feeling sad about disconnecting from them because you'll never have to experience what you went through with them again. They know that as soon as you connect to somebody, the rest is history. You hear me? They know that once you lock in, you committed to your person. They know ain't no cheating like they did on theirs. You hear me? So those people who put you in a third party and you ain't even know about it, chosen ones, the difference is when your true love comes in, guess what? You're going to be loyal to them. Ain't no cheating on them. Ain't no beating on them. Ain't no deceiving them. Ain't no so-so shit. They are the missing piece, and that's that next part that we're going to get into. So right now, baby, I'm a disconnect. All right. I'm going to post this as a separate video on my YouTube, but I'm going to come back real briefly. All right. Get back on here because there's another message that God's having me relate to you. And it's time sensitive, all right? So, chosen ones, we're going to take a little brief intermission, okay? I love you so much. I believe in you. So, if those who are unable to join us when we get live in a brief moment, I'm going to post it on YouTube. I got you, all right? All I ask you to come through, like, share, subscribe, turn your notifications on, because we're going to start going live on YouTube too. We're going to push our purpose on other platforms, all right? So I love you so much. I appreciate y'all so much. Just know I'm sending all that love to you. Best believe I'm shouting you out. Again, I promise you, you don't got no mother, you don't got no auntie, you don't got no TT, you don't got no sister. Baby, you got me. You hear me? All right, masculines too. You ain't got no mother, you ain't got no sister, you ain't got no baby. I got you, and I appreciate you. You hear me? I appreciate y'all, cause when you come to me and we talking, I feel all of that getting lifted off of y'all. Those who have been rocking with me, we see the change tremendously. The fact that you trust me with telling you what God tells me to tell to you, what you know that God's telling me to tell to you, because you ain't never told nobody else what you done went through. You hear me? I love you so much, all right? But I'm going to get up off here, chosen ones. I'll be back, I promise you, all right? Have a good one.